our streaming platforms and bring you up to date on these thunderstorms. I'm also monitoring our Facebook page and to see if we get any type of questions from you guys if you are wondering about the thunderstorms as they roll through here. And so far, I'm not seeing anybody. Have we gone to the? Yes, we are live. Okay, so good to know. And welcome to everyone who is watching. We have a raucous thunderstorm right now that is moving into Tyler. It has moved into Overton, currently at Mount Selman, and it is also moved in here to Winona and up to the northeast. I'm going to turn off the lightning, or at least shrink the lightning down so you can see some of the cities, because there is a lot of lightning. These are loud storms. They're producing a lot of heavy rainfall and some gusty winds, maybe in the order of about 60 miles an hour. So that's in Swan right now, Mount Sylvan, back to the west and to the north, Lindale. Lots of thunder and lightning at Lindale currently, and these thunderstorms will push through all of Tyler within the next, say, half hour or so. So, Tanya, thanks for checking in with us. We got Jerry also watching. Appreciate that. The heaviest rain right now is going to be on the south side of Tyler, like we've seen earlier, south of the airport and south of 31 Highway. So that's essentially going to be through downtown Tyler. You can see some of the lightning bolts around Old Jacksonville Road, out toward the County Road, and off to the east and to the southeast toward Old Omen Road, out by UT Tyler, Paluxy Drive, looking south towards Shiloh, near Broadway Square Mall. It's raining heavily there toward Rice Road, Earl Campbell Parkway, also seeing some heavy rainfall on the south side of Tyler at this time. Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate that. No power in Big Sandy again. Brian, I will report that to our reporters so that can be passed on to those who need to know. We need to get the power back on in Big Sandy and those areas up to the north as soon as possible. Hawkins, they've got thunderstorms there over toward Gladewater. Looks like in Pritchett, the rain coming to an end. East Mountain, it is lightening up in terms of the rain, but also probably lightning with lots of lightning. Gilmer, it's a light rain currently, couple of rumbles of thunder possible, rumbles of thunder around Roansboro, back toward Mineola, also some lighter rain. This is going to be the last round, at least for this evening. There is a chance overnight for more rain and thunderstorms. Mimi, thank you, appreciate it. White House getting hardcore rain right now. Lindale is rough. Yeah, Lindale's having a ton of lightning as far as I can tell right now. And I'm just kind of zoomed in on this cell. This stretches over toward Longview on Interstate 20, just west of Longview. Kilgore is about to get into this cell. Let me put a timeline on this for anyone who's wondering. This whole cell itself is moving southeast at about 25 miles an hour. And so I'll track this for us through the evening. Again, we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning on it. The only severe thunderstorm warning we have is down in Shelby County, and that goes until 7:15. So the current path of this storm would take it into Troop at 7:12. So if you're watching from Troop, you're going to get heavy rainfall. It'll pick up, then lots of thunder and lightning, and the rain will get heavier before it starts to let up again. All right, Roberta just lost power but came right back on. Good to hear. Thank you. Good to know. No power in Brownsboro. So Brownsboro, another place without power. So we're starting to get reports of losing power now. Big Sandy and Brownsboro checking with no power. Highway 110, it's raining, lots of thunder, but no wind. Yeah, Roberta, possibly that's why we don't have any severe thunderstorm warning with this storm. It's more of an electric storm. Maybe you've heard that phrase from the past where there's just a lot of lightning, lots of rain, but we're not getting much wind. Could be a little bit of hail in there, but I have not seen much or heard of any reports of hail. Turnertown, 723, Price, 732. Henderson, which already saw a storm with some heavy rain. Henderson will get another round of rain and thunderstorms that will move back in here within the next half hour. So this is a pretty heavy thunderstorm. If you were watching us on CBS19 News at 5 or 6, we pointed it out and said it was headed right back into Smith County and into Tyler. And so here it is. So this is the time. This is that cell that I was talking about if you were with us on air on CBS19 earlier this evening. All right, I'm going to get back in. I need to get some information from the National Weather Service here and see if we've got anything. They did cancel the portion of the watch for Nacogdoches, Panola, and Rusk County. That was in effect till 7:15, so just Shelby County currently in the severe thunderstorm warning. Still, though, a strong thunderstorm moving through currently. Let me get a couple of details on this storm. As we can see, we're seeing wind gusts are estimated to be 50 to 55 miles an hour with this, and perhaps some nickel-sized hail. So let me switch out something here. I'm right now using what we call a reflectivity product. So it looks at the size and shapes of the rainfall and the intensity of the rainfall, and it measures the direction of which it's moving. That is sent back to the National Weather Service, and then we get this image. So let's switch and look at the different wind speeds that these little areas of rain are moving. We can do that by going to something called velocity. So this is now measuring the rain droplets, the perhaps little hailstones inside that thunderstorm. And so it measures the speed with which those are moving, and then it converts that through mathematical equations into a velocity. And so it says right in that spot there that I just clicked on, that was just north of Tyler, on the north side of Tyler, 40-mile-an-hour winds. So that's our radar is estimating 40-mile-an-hour winds there. Near Starrville, the estimate on that is likely going to be the same, and that is going to be as of 7:01. So let me tell you what. Let me go back to a brighter area. I hear a lot of thunder coming here. There's so about 41 miles an hour is what we're sampling with these winds. So gusty, yes. Damaging, perhaps, if a tree has already been weakened by another source, by another storm earlier. But at this point, nothing devastating, nothing destructive, as I think we would term that. All right, so that's the current storm. Looking at it from velocity, let's go back to what a lot more folks are familiar with, and that is reflectivity. And so we can see that, and you can see all that lightning from Tyler back to Big Sandy. A lot of lightning. Let's see. Lost power on 14, says Dana. Dana, all right, thank you very much. Thanks for that report. In North Tyler, I'm by the zoo. Power is trying to go out, says Shauna. All right, so yeah, there's a lot of lightning up on the north side of Tyler by Caldwell Zoo. Let me zoom in on that. You can see, look at all that lightning. So if we're losing lightning, I mean, we could easily have a lightning bolt hit a transformer or a line and knock the power out easily. Chapel Hill wind is bad. Blew a big doghouse off our porch. Ooh. All right, so there is some gusty winds in there, maybe on the south side toward Chapel Hill. Let me flip back over to that was a big, loud crack of thunder here at the TV station. Let me sample some of that wind over at Chapel Hill. Again, that's going to be on the west side of Chapel Hill. Wind gusting there, 40 miles an hour. If it hits that doghouse just right, I think that could easily do it. Let me sample another area. I'm looking for some of the brighter greens around Chapel Hill, down toward White House. Seeing 35. So 35 to about 45 is what we're getting with this storm right now. Real windy here is 5 Pounds Field. Tyler Pounds. Oh, is Tyler Pounds Field about to go? Power is trying to go out. All right, sorry. No power in South Tyler. This is Old Bullard Road, 2 blocks from the mall. Yeah, those last couple of booms were very loud, Amber. I agree. We just really heard those crack here at the TV station also. Again, we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we're still getting some very strong wind gusts with the storm as it moves in. And on top of that, there can be some isolated brief gusts that just simply avoid the radar operator's eyes, and so we don't get a warning. But we do have a significant weather advisory issue to this. I'm going to go over and point out a couple of things for you here. Maybe you guys all saw the what we call the shelf cloud that moved in, and if you live in Troop or Turnertown or down toward McKnight, you're going to see some very low hanging clouds coming in. That's the shelf cloud. So there's colder air at the top of this thunderstorm that's sinking. As it's sinking, it's descending and it's racing out ahead of the thunderstorm. It's meeting up with very warm and humid air. And so where that cold air meets the warm air, you essentially have condensation occurring. And that condensation then is seen in the form of clouds. So from Bullard to Overton, you can see that shelf cloud right on top of you. And then once it gets there, it rains heavily. So now Troop is getting into that rain toward Browning, also getting into some of that heavy rain that we can see back toward Longview. Again, I'm going to widen this out. Let me get rid of the path. The path, I'll get a new path for us drawn here. It's dropping kind of east-southeast. Let me roll this back one time. It's shrinking a little bit, not a lot, trying to shrink up a little bit, but it's going to blast into Henderson here. So Henderson, get ready. You're going to have this very heavy thunderstorm that'll roll into Henderson with some 40 to 50 mile an hour winds. This is the latest track. This is dropping east-southeast, 25 miles an hour. That takes it toward Lakeport. Henderson, get ready at 7:30, 7:23. You'll have the thunderstorm moving into Henderson. Blackjack about 7:28, Chapman 7:42, then Laneville at about 7:47. Let's see, no power at the condos on Grande. Okay, thank you, Hannah. I will share that also with the newsroom. Let's see. And then, let's see, we have video. Yes, I got a video. Oh, of the shelf cloud. Hannah, if you got a video of that shelf cloud, you can share that either on our web page, on our Facebook page, or you could simply email that to weather@cbs19.tv, and then I can get that turned around for the news tonight at 10 o'clock. Kesha, thanks for watching here this evening. I'm trying to see who else is tuning in here and kind of riding out these storms with us here this evening. I'm going to stay on until these sort of either weaken a little bit, which maybe take us up past 7:30, or if they continue to get stronger, of course, then we would break into programming on over air on CBS 19. But right now, they're just a strong thunderstorm. There are no severe thunderstorm warnings, so if you're not seeing anyone on any of the television stations breaking in, that's likely why. It's not a tornado warned storm, not a severe warned storm. We do have the one severe warned storm in parts of Shelby County. That goes until 7:15, and even that cell does not look as strong as it once did. So that's moving into center here out of Timpson. So that's the severe storm warned storm for Shelby County. And it's solely in Shelby County right now, dropping southward. I believe if they were going to extend the warning, they would have already done it on the leading edge with those winds. This is just rain at Appleby, back to Nacogdoches, over toward Dotson, just plain old rain. We are about 3 minutes away from that severe thunderstorm warning expiring, and I believe that the National Weather Service will let that expire and then look back upstream at our storm, maybe perhaps a little bit more in detail. All right, so let's go back to the storm that now is moving through southeastern parts of Smith County. Let me do something here. I'm going to show you. This is we're going to sample all of the lightning from Lindale down to Noonday over to Kilgore, and this is going to be within the last 15 minutes. So look at this. In the last 15 minutes, 805 lightning strikes. So it's incessant lightning just coming down. Now, believe it or not, last Thursday night, it was even more active than this with the lightning. The lightning covered the entire screen. We were getting as many as 2,000 lightning strikes last Thursday night with that destructive thunderstorm that rolled through north of Interstate 20, and then that second batch that came through the west side of Tyler on down to Jacksonville later into the night, into the early morning hours. So from Kilgore up to Longview over to Gladewater to Winona and Lindale, it is just a loud, thunderous evening here in East Texas with heavy rainfall. Let's watch out for flash flooding also around the Overton area, around the Kilgore area, in southeastern parts of Smith County also. So out toward White House, over toward Lake Tyler, we have to watch for some minor flooding. We've heard of minor flooding from time to time in South Tyler. So that's going to be one of the possibilities when we have this much lightning, is that the rainfall rates inside that storm are absolutely just coming down in buckets. In fact, let me see if we can get a estimated rainfall rate on that storm. So we're looking at that storm. It's going to pop up, probably widen back out for me a second. Let me reset the radar. And so it's going to be right here. And I'll likely turn off the light. You can see the lightning is just absolutely nonstop on Interstate 20. All right, so let's turn off the radar for the moment, and we'll turn it back on when we see the observed rainfall accumulation. This is within the 2 storms that we've seen so far. Okay, that did not pop back up. And that did not pop back up. Okay, there it goes. It took a little bit of time. All right, so now it has to catch up over the last hour. All right, look at some of these rainfall rates here. So this is how hard it's raining currently. So in that purple area, you're in excess of 2 inches an hour. You're getting up close to 3 or 4 inches. These are absolute just downpours east of Tyler on 31, headed over toward the Gregg County line. There are some other areas starting to lighten up now on the west side of Tyler, north toward the interstate. But anywhere from Tyler down to White House to Flint to the southeast over toward Lake Tyler, this is just coming down. New Chapel Hill absolutely pouring to beat the band. And again, remember, that's headed toward Henderson. So you're going to get just a ton of rainfall here in Henderson in the next, say, hour or so as that moves into Henderson. We had a timeline on that a little bit ago. So there it is. It's just that lighter rain is about to move into Henderson, but the heavy stuff is just about ready to move in there. Tony, thanks for watching. ETF Roofing and Construction for updating our local. Absolutely, you are very welcome. Let's see who else is watching. Windsor just got insane in Chandler. All right, so on the west side, we may have something on the. Sometimes you can have some very strong winds that will come in behind the storm as the storm is moving. So as the storm is exiting sometimes, and so right in here would be we're out toward Chandler. So as the storm is exiting, it's taken away all the warm air, so the cool air has replaced it, and a bunch of air will flood back in to take the place of the air that's moved out with a thunderstorm, and so that can create some strong wind gusts in the wake of the storm. So sometimes those are called wake lows. I don't know that we had a big enough area to create what we would call a wake low, but certainly that would explain the stronger winds in Chandler over toward maybe back to Brownsboro or Coffee City, but things have certainly quieted down there. Out to the east now toward Overton and Kilgore toward Browning, also some heavier rain falling in those areas. And now that this storm seems to have taken perhaps, still kind of moving south and eastward toward Henderson, Pine Hill, down toward Laneville. Likely going to miss Jacksonville. Jacksonville got some rain out of this, but doesn't look like you are going to take the brunt of this storm. And it does look like, and I'll turn the lightning back on here, it looks like the cores of these storms are coming down just a little bit. That's good news. What does that mean? That means that the threat of wind will lessen. The threat of any kind of large hail will lessen also, and we'll see if the lightning will also start to let up just a little bit. Is there another round coming after this, or are we done for the night? Nicole, there is some computer modeling data. We can come back on camera here, talk to Nicole about this. So there is the chance that overnight we could see another round. Some of the modeling data would suggest that we could see another round with some showers and thunderstorms that are out toward Abilene. So let me point these out. You can see all these showers and thunderstorms out here toward Lubbock. So some of the forecast data brings this along the Red River and then turns it over our area overnight after 2 a.m. to about 6 or 7 o'clock. The thinking is that it wouldn't be as strong as these thunderstorms, so it would just be rain. There's other pieces of data that push this to the east, keep it along the Red River, and ride it up toward the Arklatex, and it misses the majority of us. So what I'm saying is at 10 o'clock, hopefully I can get a feel for where these storms are headed. It's been an absolute headache trying to forecast where these storms are going because they are moving around an area of some very hot air. We get the thunderstorms that have formed out in West Texas. They encounter some of that hot air as they move to the east. They lose daytime heating. They fall apart. Other thunderstorms have been forecast to absolutely move into East Texas and have never made it here. Or in this instance, they were forecast this morning. They're here this evening. The timing has really been difficult. And so tonight, there's at least one more chance to have some thunderstorms before the heat builds in for the weekend and for next week. Tree down in ARP. Cindy, can you give me kind of a general location where that might be? I can share that with the newsroom. They might want to get some video of that. So I'll widen. I'm going to zoom back in on this. So at this point, there's still, it's all about lightning. We're still not, and it looks like the wind is kind of lessened up a little bit. The severe thunderstorm warning in Shelby County is now over. But in Rusk County, this thunderstorm is now going to dominate and move into Rusk County. What to expect? 40 to 50 mile an hour winds in the city of Henderson. Heavy rain, frequent lightning, maybe some power outages as the storm moves in. We've heard about power outages at Big Sandy, I believe back toward Brownsboro. New Chapel Hills has gotten some very gusty winds. We've had power trying to flicker off and on in South Tyler. So expect that in Henderson and in Rusk County. You may lose some power in Rusk County as this very loud and boisterous raucous storm moves into northern and northwestern parts of that county. All right, what do we have right now? So Anderson, Henderson, Van Zant, by the way, are still in a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. So Anderson, Henderson, Van Zant, you are in a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock this evening. Otherwise, tracking this thunderstorm through the area tonight with some very gusty winds. Let me see. Weather Service is projecting wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour and some 50-mile and some penny-sized hail on the cell that is moving out of Smith County right now and into Rusk County. So let me put a fresh track on this for us. It is continuing to move to the southeast. Newest track now has its forward speed up to about 35 miles an hour. So this will be a rough estimate of when this storm will arrive in some parts of East Texas. If it's dropping southeast at 35 miles an hour. If you're watching us from New Summerfield, expect the thunderstorm to get to your area at 7:28. If you're at Laneville, it'll be 7:32. Dotson at 7:42. Recklaw, 7:53. Timpson at 8 o'clock. Gary City at 8:11. And then Tenahaw at 8:14. So what you can expect would be wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. It doesn't mean that they're going to be sustained at that time. County Road 294, Cindy says it's calmed down, though. So that's where the tree was down. So the tree was down at County Road 294, and now things have calmed down. So it looks like we've gotten some very strong winds in the wake of the thunderstorms that have moved through. Let's see. Will it be passing by Jacksonville? The heavier thunderstorm likely misses Jacksonville. You may get some rain, but the heaviest portion of this storm is going to stay to the northeast of Jacksonville. It'll probably more so head out towards New Summerfield and northeastern parts of Cherokee County. Let me go back and erase that so you can see Jacksonville. So Jacksonville's just kind of getting clipped by this, just a little bit of maybe a downpour on the east side of town. But really, the brunt of this storm is dropping from eastern parts of Smith County now, southeast through Henderson, eventually to Mount Enterprise, and into southwestern parts of Panola County, and then over toward Shelby County. Not sure, it may, if it drops a little farther to the south, may make it to Nacogdoches. That current path would be very close to Nacogdoches. All right, so now we have a new severe thunderstorm. Well, that was the old severe thunderstorm warning. All right, let me stop this for a second so we can get sometimes that when there's several warnings on there, it pops up. All right, so currently no warnings in place across the area, but we still have that severe thunderstorm watch. So I'm going to stay on for at least till 7:30 tracking these storms. I appreciate everyone who's been with us tonight and has reported or given me some information about either power out or a tree down and where. We can always go back and double back on that and find some video and then have that prepared for you for the 10 o'clock news. Shawana says that lights are out in North Tyler. All right, so we've got some lights out in North Tyler. And then Jessica wanted to know, will Jacksonville get any more bad weather? I don't think this evening, and I don't think overnight. So I'm gonna go with no. I think Jacksonville avoids the worst of this. Live in an RV by Pounds Field, says Robin. And hopefully things have improved there. That can be scary. Anytime you're out in an RV or you're camping and thunderstorms go through. In fact, it does look like things have quieted down out toward Pounds Fields because this thunderstorm moves out. But I bet that was a loud hour as those storms move through. And it will be. For anyone that is downstream of this storm, as it moves eastward into southeastern parts of Gregg County, this is just going to be a very loud thunderstorm. look at all the lightning strikes again. I mean, there's probably 600 to 700 lightning strikes within about a 15-minute period in this storm. And let's see, it looks like it's kind of made a kind of beeline to the southeast, more toward Dotson and Laneville, down toward Cushing and Stockton. And what I'm trying to figure out here is, and I doubt. Look, I thought maybe a couple of loops the thunderstorm had weakened just a little bit. It has. I don't think we're seeing the wind, but we're certainly seeing the heavy rain with it as it drops in this direction. So this is going to be a rough estimate again if you're watching from McKnight or Laneville. And the city of Henderson right now is in the middle of this thunderstorm. So these would be the next cities up. Timpson, you know somebody who lives in Timpson or Arlem, or say Dotson even, let them know they're likely going to get some really heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and likely maybe a little bit of small hail, but more likely it's going to be heavy rain and just a lot of, this is going to be a loud thunderstorm that comes through. Things have quieted down certainly here at CBS19. We're at Troop in the Loop, so it looks like most of our thunder and lightning has moved out, so we should be quiet for the evening. And all of us, once this storm goes by, you're good for about the next at least 7 hours. We'll see if one of those thunderstorms out in West Texas can stay together or perhaps build into something larger. There's data out there suggesting that will happen tonight, but there's been data on past nights that has just suggested we get a thunderstorm and then nothing materializes, or it falls apart, or it goes to our north or to our west. So this is evidence that the ridge is building in, that something changed in the atmosphere from yesterday when it was kind of staying out in Henderson and Anderson County. The ridge is now starting to move back to the east a little bit. These thunderstorms are moving around the edge of that heat, and so this is just evidence, and we should have expected at least one more round of thunderstorms before this moves in. Now, these thunderstorms may help to keep our temperature tomorrow in the low to mid 90s instead of upper 90s had we not got the rain. Sunday could be the same. We could end up about 95, maybe 96 degrees. While that is hot, it is not 100 degrees. Next week, there's data that suggests we'll get to 100 degrees. So the rain, if we can get that second round of rain tonight, we may delay the arrival of that 100-degree air by a day or so. And you may ask why. Well, the reason is, as that warm air comes over top the moist soil, it evaporates that moisture out of the soil, right? So evaporation is a cooling process. And so as that moisture is evaporating, it's cooling the air above it. And so instead of getting to 100 degrees, you may only get to 97. So rain in the soil is very helpful to prevent some really intense air. Last year, we didn't have thunderstorms like this. We were below average in our rainfall. The sun was essentially drying the soil out. It was baking it. It was hard pan. And as a result, we saw the temperatures. We already had at this point last June as many as 5 100-degree days, and we have not had a 100-degree day officially yet this year. All right, Terry Landfair is watching. Hi, Terry. Thanks for watching. Michael, thanks for watching. Sarah, thank you for watching. Peggy, also watching this evening. Cody, I will pass along that Athens is out of power, and I will also pass along some of the other damage reports that we have had at this point. Let's see, some pictures that were coming in. So it looks like the rain is blowing and raining very hard in Troop. So that makes that coincides with what we're seeing on our radar screen. So yeah, I appreciate that report. Again, this thunderstorm is not warned at this time, and that is why we are not on air doing anything, but we are streaming this for you on our CBS19 platform, also at CBS19.tv, and also on our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, you can watch this and stay with our coverage. I don't think there's any reason to head to shelter right now. If you were concerned about this storm perhaps producing something, damaging, we certainly need to watch it. These storms are moving fast enough that I don't expect them to collapse right where they are. Sometimes a collapsing thunderstorm can have a downburst wind. We sort of saw that in a couple of the thunderstorms, I believe it was last week, where they suddenly collapsed and we had some trees knocked over as a result. So let's go in and investigate this storm a little bit closer. And I can either turn, I'm going to just shrink the lightning down so that we can see some of the cities. All right, so you can still tell there's a lot of lightning at ARP, at Laird Hill, at Pirtle, at New Prospect, at Kilgore, and the lightning is now starting to intensify in Henderson, Price, Overton, at Troop and White House. There's still, and again, on this backside of the storm, we continue to hear about some stronger winds that are blowing in here. So, in fact, it looks like there may be a little bit of a rear inflow notch here where we're getting a ton of wind blowing in from the west, feeding this storm. So there's jet stream energy pushing this, and then that air is being transferred down to the surface. And so a lot of folks are experiencing some very gusty winds as the thunderstorms go by. Those winds come into the thunderstorm, they wrap up, and then they are get into the updraft, brought up into the storm, and add a little extra fire to the storm as it continues moving east. So I think that's what we're seeing as this plays out here this evening. Again, it's not a severe warned storm, but it is certainly packing a punch throughout the evening, and it'll continue to drop through Henderson and now move over toward Dotson and Laneville. We don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings downstream of that. Let me put the velocity on real fast and just kind of get an idea. As it gets closer to the Shreveport site, we can have a better idea of what the winds are doing with the storm. So let me look at the velocity, and the velocity is going to, there's a couple of little brighter returns there on the east side of Henderson, and those winds right now are about sampling 37, weaker spots, 30 to 37. So I'm not seeing, certainly not seeing stronger winds. Yeah, it's about in the order of 30 to 37 miles an hour with the winds currently with this storm. So that means, I think it's weakened just a little bit. We did have some 50-mile-an-hour winds earlier, and we're now getting just a little bit less than that on our velocity signature. So it's a thunderstorm, essentially, but it's a really loud thunderstorm as it moves now out of Kilgore. Will not make it to Longview, and it'll continue dropping into southeastern parts of Rusk County. All right, so I think what we're going to do is let me check in with the got to check in with the web team and see if we are getting ready to wrap up our stream there, if we set up a time for that. Lots of power outages coming in now that more than 21,000 reported without power. Anderson County, Henderson, Smith County, now 10,000 power outages again. And parts of SWEPCO, Smith County 500. I think some of these are existing from the last storm, but the newest number there would be Smith County, 10,000 people without power. And some reports that, we got a lot of, let's see. Okay. The City of Tyler is going to give an update to our newsroom soon on our power outages. Okay, let's see. Let's stream until 7:45, and then we'll take a break. So at 7:45, we will take a break. Okay, so we got about 12 more minutes on this stream here. So that should get the storms through most of Rusk County over into Panola County. Okay. Hey, CJ, thanks for watching. Christian, thank you for watching. Let's see. Tina says, thank you for streaming. Our power is off. Absolutely. Hopefully we can keep everybody informed. That's why it's important to also stream when the power goes out. There's no other way to track these storms, but one of the advantages that we've had with social media channels is being able to not necessarily go on air. If we were on air right now, we'd be talking about storms that Mineola, Gilmer have it's not impacting them at all. But here we can concentrate on Henderson and Laneville and northwestern parts of Rusk County as these very heavy thunderstorms move through. And sometimes it doesn't take a severe thunderstorm to be concerned about it. If you have some storm anxiety, then we can help you kind of work your way through these thunderstorms as they move east toward Panola County. So, and again, this is a pretty vivid storm. There's just a lot of lightning with this. And so as we get closer to sunset and this storm moves away, we'll likely see almost a continuous flash in the sky. If it was after sunset, you probably would still see that. And from Tyler, you can probably see a lot of lightning and a lot of cloud-to-cloud lightning. There may be some cloud-to-ground lightning. I've seen a couple of what we call positive strokes, some very powerful, among the top 5% strongest of all the lightning strokes pop up in these thunderstorms. So those are the kinds that can split trees, catch houses on fire. Those are really concerning when we see those very powerful positive strikes. Those are the ones that come from out of the anvil of the thunderstorm. So they have farther to travel and have more ability to create more energy. Sue says, yes, storm anxiety here. Yeah, I mean, that's a very real thing, especially when we get just really rough thunderstorms that come through, and then you just don't know in the next thunderstorm, is it going to work out to be the same? I mean, when I say you just don't know, I mean, when the storm first arrives, there is some question as to how powerful it would be. We should have an idea of how strong it will be using the tools that we have, but sometimes these thunderstorms can develop and become stronger, and as they become stronger, then they can produce stronger winds. And if this was moving from the southwest, I'd be more concerned. When storms are moving from the northwest to the southeast here in East Texas, we have less potential to see a tornadic storm as opposed to when they're moving out of the southwest or out of the south to the north. Not to say it never happens, but storms like this, when they're moving northwest to southeast, these are the ones that typically have the stronger wind gusts that exceed 60 miles an hour. These are the ones sometimes that can have some hail inside, though. These are the ones that typically move a little bit faster. When ones are coming out of the southwest, just think about the southwest at any storm that rotates and coming from the south. It's already taking on a counterclockwise motion. If a storm's taking on a counterclockwise motion, moving from the northwest to the southeast, it has to overcome that northwest momentum. So when those winds are turning this way, at the same time, they're being stretched and pushed in this direction. But when it's coming this way, it's pulling in extra moisture. If the storm's moving from the northwest, sometimes it's pulling in drier air into the storm. So it just doesn't have the dynamics that it has when it's coming out of the southwest, typically. That's just what I've seen and what we've experienced here and what we know about really northwest to southeast moving thunderstorms. So that is the current non-warned storm. Just looking at it, you'd want to say, oh, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. It's not, but boy, that is really, really supercharged. There's likely a lot of little ice crystals in there. It's got to be some small hail. In fact, we have a few more minutes as we stream here, about 7 more. So let's turn off the lightning and find out if there is any hail inside this thunderstorm. And I'm also going to stop it as it moves into Henderson right now. And Henderson's had a tough time with the hail this year. We had the big hail, I think back in, late April. Then we had more in May. And so I just turned on our hail tracker. And there is a little bit of small hail in the order of, penny or smaller, right on the southwest side of Henderson right now, near FM 3310. If you have any pictures of that hail, or you can back it up. How's Ore City and Pittsburgh looking? Until later tonight, they're looking good. Ore City and Pittsburgh should be okay. The thunderstorms have moved out, for the most part, out of the Ore City area, out of Pittsburgh. So you're dry, and you're going to stay that way for the next few hours. All right. Tina said, okay, CR County Road 23 off of FM 850. No power in Henderson. All right, so now Henderson reporting power outages. So this lightning is really doing a number on our power grid across the area. So knocking out power left and right to several people. Let's see, I'm looking back. Just trying to get an idea of where we're getting our reports from and correlate those. There's a little bit of bigger hail down in northeastern San Augustine County. This is going to be northeast of San Augustine near Calgary, north of FM 353. In fact, that hail there is approaching some quarter size. We'll see if we get a new severe thunderstorm warning dropped on that cell within the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. In the meantime, we'll keep watching these cells as they move away. Let me turn back on the watch boxes. I'm turning back on some other products here that I had turned off. This is that pink area there. It's severe thunderstorm watch for Anderson and Henderson County. Then there are heat advisories already in effect for these areas in orange. And there is a severe thunderstorm warning right now down in Harris County and Brazoria County in the city of Houston. But back here in East Texas, it's a severe thunderstorm watch, and then we've got, it looks like a flood advisory flood advisory till 10 o'clock in the city of Tyler. So let's avoid some high water that could have developed because of the heavy rain that we've seen across the region. No power in Grand Saline. So Grand Saline is out. No power in Henderson. We have several, I think 10,000 power outages reported in Smith County. All right. And you can see the cell itself has now moved out of but the northeastern corner of Cherokee County. It's currently in Rusk County at this time, but we have no warnings on that cell. Light rain around it, and I will zoom in on it. We'll add back in the lightning, just because the lightning has been just non-stop, it seems, since these thunderstorms developed. And they were a line of thunderstorms north along Interstate 20 a couple hours ago. And so they have, here, I want to show you something. Okay, we're going to turn this off. I'm going to show you when we have one of these stronger, what we call positive strikes. Those are the ones that are coming from the tops of the clouds that are very powerful. We don't see any. So we were seeing a few of those earlier. It looks like those have perhaps weakened just a little bit. Let me take this hail, put it back mid-lead. There it is. There's one. So there's a very strong lightning strike to the northeast of Henderson. So any of those can knock power out pretty quickly. All right, about 3 minutes to go here in our live stream on CBS19 on our Facebook page and at CBS19.tv and also on our YouTube channel. Only about 10 people watching right now as most of the thunderstorms have moved out of Smith County and things have quieted down. And even in Henderson, there's just a few lightning bolts. So I'll wrap things up here. I appreciate you all for spending your time with us here this evening. If you have any pictures that you can share with us safely, do that at weather@cbs19.tv. We will be gathering some of the information that you shared with us, some of the information from the National Weather Service here this evening, and we will have updates on CBS 19 News at 10. I would urge you to tune into us at CBS 19 News at 10 as we get some new updates, new information this evening, and we can share that with you in terms of the forecast for overnight. In fact, give me just a second. There might be a new piece. Let's see if the new piece of data has updated since earlier. And I got to scroll down and find it. We have a computer model that we'll use, or some of our modeling data here, and I had it turned off when we went back to this. There it is. Okay, so let's see. All right, so that's now nothing new. There's no new information that's come in yet. All right, so it's still going to show us these thunderstorms that will come in overnight. So we're waiting for the 7 o'clock update, and that should update this evening, and then we will have that coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. All right, so let's wrap things up here. And again, thanks for watching our CBS 19 stream at CBS19.tv on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Please, if you get any pictures, just share those with us at weather@cbs19.tv. Also on our CBS 19 app, there is the Near Me function. Let me see what this severe thunderstorm warning just popped up here. We'll probably still go to break on this. So this is going to be, that's Calcasieu. That's Calcasieu Parish over in Louisiana. All right, so that'll do it for us here at CBS 19. Have a great evening. Hope to see you at 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching.